Good evening. I'm so glad y'all could all be with us tonight. My name is Allison Masora, and I have the privilege of joining the K9s For Warriors team as our Senior Development Director. And as many of y'all know, K9s For Warriors was founded by Sherry Duvall, who was a mom who made it her mission in life to not only help her son heal from PTSD, but to help as many sons and daughters as she can. So Sherry was mom to all of our warriors, and we are so proud to honor Sherry and the legacy that she created tonight at Salute to Moms. So I want to share a little video with you that helps honor Sherry and her legacy.
Honestly, I saw something on social media where I saw a dog and a warrior paired up together, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. This dog was reading the emotions of this veteran, and I needed to know more.
And it's not like the other organizations didn't want to help, but this is the best organization. They don't leave anybody behind.
Wife told me one day was the catalyst was I think a service dog would work because I don't know who I'm coming home from day to day.
650 people were not just given a dog, you were given a family.
When I came home after the camp, within 30 minutes, she was crying and I didn't know why. And she told me, I have not seen you smile in years.
A couple months later, they found out that I was pretty much homeless. Jerry gave me a bed, blanket, and a pillow, and they gave me a job.
I think down deep in her heart, she knew that there was going to be countless other people that she was saving.
This guy here, I just can't even begin to explain how my life has changed.
I am so much better with him than I was ever able to be without him.
You realize it's not about the warrior, it's about family. And it's awesome to be a part of that.
Sherry was like, don't you ever say that you're broken.
I knew at that moment I wasn't alone anymore.
It was like that moment that I knew I was going to be okay, that somebody genuinely cared.
This is literally my medicine on 4 legs.
Not have to worry about every little thing, that bothering me, because I also have Hannah, too. She pretty much watches my back.
This program actually gave me my life back.
Thanks to her, I have a battle buddy with me 24/7.
So the military teaches them how to go to war, but tragically, because of the multiple wars, these kids are not being taught how to come home. So our mission is to save their life. Our mission is to get them back into civilian life with dignity and independence. They deserve that. But more has to be done. More agencies need to follow our pack. They need to follow our lead and save more lives of our nation's greatest asset, our military.
So where did you get her? And I said, K9s For Warriors. I said, it's the best program ever. I said, they basically give you your life back.
She believed in every warrior that came through here.
And there's a reason that we call her mom. She was like a mother to us.
She gave us the grace of her time.
Sherry had this innate ability to pierce through your garbage and see the person and know what you need.
My life was literally saved because of this program.
She didn't just give me a dog. When people call her mom, it was like I got a mom out of her.
My mom passed away. My mom was my rock. And when I met Sherry for the first time, she said, call me mom. And I was like, wow.
She literally saves the lives of probably thousands of warriors.
She was more than just a mom. She's a literal superhero.
I've literally been given my life back.
She's the most incredible human being I've ever encountered.
And Sherry not only affected the community that she lived in, but lives across the entire nation.
Sherry's legacy.
Sherry's legacy.
Sherry's legacy.
Through K9s For Warriors.
Through K9s For Warriors.
Has given me a new leash on life.
It's more than a leash on life. It's a way of life.
I got to thinking at Christmas,
know what a blessed day I had. My family made it so beautiful. Just an absolutely perfect day. And I got to thinking, what about the warriors that's sitting home alone, suffering, and thinking nobody loves them, and nobody wants to be around them, and they have nothing to live for? How many of these dogs saved their lives during Christmas, during a hard time?
Sherry was an amazing woman. She has left an amazing legacy, and unfortunately, we lost her last year. But because of Sherry, we have paired 728 warriors to date with their battle buddy, and we've rescued over 1,500 dogs from shelters. So her legacy lives on here at Camp K9 and continues with our new mega kennel that we're building down the street. We're going to be able to house another 150 dogs there soon, which will just make an incredible impact on the number of warriors that we'll be able to bring through our program. We're rescuing dogs now in San Antonio, Texas. We just graduated our very first warrior class, Texas Warriors, with dogs rescued in Texas and trained in Texas. And we have just last week officially planted our roots in Phoenix, Arizona. So we will rescue more dogs and we will save more veterans because of what Sherry started 11 years ago. So now I want to make a special welcome to Ramiro and his service dog, Cooter, one of our warriors, and I'll welcome him back home to Camp K9. Ramiro and Cooter graduated in May of 2021, so this is their 1-year anniversary. And Ramiro, thanks so much for being with us. Please join me here and share your story with us.
Yeah, after that video, I don't know. But my name is Ramiro Oliveira. I've been paired up with Cooter for a year now. But before that, a little story about me. I was 4 years in the Marines as a diesel mechanic. After that, I joined the Florida National Guard. I spent 2.5 years in the Florida National Guard. That's when I was activated for Operation Enduring Freedom. While I was activated in Fort Stewart, Georgia, I had a really bad accident. And that was life-ending, but for me, it wasn't. And after that, I was struggling. I didn't know what I was struggling with. And when after so many years, I went to the VA and they said, well, you do have PTSD. What is that? They started explaining to me what it was, and I was in acute depression. I was really bad father for a while. My family was suffering because I was suffering. And then in around, I'll say 2017, 2018, one of my doctors said, well, how about a service dog? And I'm like, what is that? What do they do? I didn't know what they did. And she's like, well, do a little research. I did a little research and I found K9s For Warriors. When I started seeing Sherry's story and all the stories of all the warriors, I'm like, well, that's me. And that's when I told my doctor, yeah, that's for me. And we did all the paperwork and everything else. And then COVID happened. And I was supposed to be getting here while COVID was going on. And I'm like, well, now I'm gonna have to wait a little bit more. And then I remember like it was yesterday, April 26th of last year, I got a phone call from Carly. So what do you think about coming May 2nd to get your dog? I'm like, huh? What? So May 2nd of last year, May 3rd, we paired up. And that was a change in my life. I don't know if I was still here if I didn't have them. I don't know if I was still here if I didn't have my family. But K9s For Warriors changed my life for the better. And I thank them every single day. And I tell everybody about K9s For Warriors because it was a change of everything in my life. My family's better now. My relationship with my family's better. With everybody is better because of it. And I thank K9s For Warriors and the Kavanagh family for getting him to me. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Ramiro. We are so grateful that you and Cooter have become such an amazing team, and we're so happy that you're doing well together. We're going to share a small, short video, and then we'll get on with our special guest speaker tonight. So we can take that video. So now I'm very proud to introduce you to Shara Kavanagh. She's Cooter's puppy raiser and sponsor, and Shara and her family have been volunteers. And they've been raising dogs with us for 3 years now. And they have Gizmo, who they're currently raising now, so we can't wait to see what he grows up to do. And of course, Sherry has an amazing story to tell us.
Well, let's just hope that the wind doesn't blow and y'all see my Spanx. So I'm just gonna tuck a little bit here and a little bit there, so we're all good, and I don't have to worry about that, and you can just hear about this amazing organization a little bit more. When I think you called me and asked me if I would courageously speak today, just like raising the dog, I didn't hesitate at all and said 100%, absolutely, of course. And it's such a beautiful thing because to speak about the death of your son really sucks. But to hear and watch the life of Ramiro with Cooter is so worth it. And if I could do this 100 times to make that happen 100 times, I'm all in. I'll do it every time. I have all these great pages written. I may or may not stick to them, but first of all, I just want to say to the K9s For Warriors Foundation and all of the employees and the volunteers that so tirelessly give of themselves, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to honor the lives of both of our sons, David and Tommy Kavanagh. I'm humbled by the presence of my family. My mom and dad are here, and they raised me to be this really strong-ass woman. I'm thankful for my dear friends, my colleagues, my clients. And so many of them have reached out and have said, you're so strong, and your strength as a mom And so I'm just going to set the record straight and let you guys know that, yes, moms are strong. Sherry Duval was a strong mom. And I would tend to say that most moms are stronger than most warriors that have been through here. Wouldn't you guys agree? But my strength only comes through my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's who gives me my strength every day. On my wrist is inscribed the word ruha. And that's a Hebrew word that has my son's ashes in the tattoo ink. And that means breath of life or breath of the Spirit. And that's how my God has given me strength every day to put one foot in front of the other and to be able to stand here and share our story with you today. Again, I'm so honored by the vision of Sherry Duval. As the mom of K9 For Warriors, she saw the need to provide healing to warriors who struggled with PTSD through the need of her own son. Who knew that her vision would also reach Purple Heart families who have also struggled with PTSD through the tragic loss of their children, who have served our country and have lost the fight to live to see the next day. 1 year ago, when we graduated the first puppy that we had trained in our home and had the honor to give him to Ramiro, it just consummated that question that everybody says to us: how do you train a puppy for 15 to 18 months and then give him away? It's so easy. Look at that. It's so easy. It's such an honor and a privilege for us to spend days and nights and be able to train them in our home and right here on the campus and do all of the things. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Cooter. Now, don't be thinking dirty. I'm sure you already have. Well, you can kind of think dirty, because do you remember the Dukes of Hazzard? Cooter was the mechanic. So this is where the name came from. If you know anything about military, especially the Marine Corps, the first thing, or one of the things the drill sergeants say to the Marines in Parris Island is, when you get back from your first deployment, do not go to the car lot and buy a car in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And when our son David came home from Afghanistan, the first thing he did was go to the car lot with a big fat deployment check and buy the biggest, baddest black four-wheel drive truck that he could imagine. And of course, he loaded up as many Marines as he could in that truck, and they got on I-95 and headed straight to Jacksonville, Florida, to have all kinds of shenanigans at the beach for the weekend. So my husband's brother, Uncle Jimmy, lives at the beach in this beautiful $1 million home. And on the way down, the Marines realized that the brand new truck was leaking oil. So they pull up in front of the $1 million home, pull it right up on the grass in the front yard, pop open the lid. All the Marines crawl under it at the same time to figure out what the problem is. And Uncle Jimmy walks out and says, "What are you, like Cooter?" And the name stuck. And that was David's nickname for the rest of his life. So when he went back to do a couple more tours, Okinawa, Korea, South Korea, North Korea, he came back, and that's where we had the big sign made when he came home up in Camp Lejeune that said, "Welcome home, Cooter." We decided to embarrass him in front of everybody that he knew. He embraced it well. He did great. But let me tell you a little bit more about David, because it's not just David. It is every warrior, or many of the warriors. We often think there's this stigma that these warriors are sad and depressed and they're not happy and they don't have a life. That's not true. David had an amazing childhood, and I mean, no one's perfect parents, but this was a choice. In fact, our twin boys, Tommy and David, were the very first students from Ponte Vedra High School to join the United States Marine Corps by choice. David was born as a premature twin in Gainesville, Florida at 2 pounds and 8 ounces. He started fighting for his life from the very moment he took his first breath. While growing up, I would always describe David as determined. He was so much more than that. First, he was loyal, dedicated, strong. Ooh, that boy had muscles. He had guns, like, ooh. He was accomplished. He was humble. He was hysterical. He was adventurous and full of shenanigans. Tommy and David, they wanted to make a difference. They wanted to do something that was honorable. They wanted to protect our country. And let's be honest, they wanted to shoot big-ass guns. But you know, they grew up in the 9/11 period. That was their life. They grew up and their education was all about the war on terror. So directly after graduating from Parris Island was when he bought this truck and came down. And then he went on further deployments. And then every time he had more than a 36, which means they had more than 36 hours of leave, he would load up all the Marines in his truck, head to Jacksonville, Florida, for more shenanigans at the beach. And we're so thankful that he did that, because a lot of those Marines slept at my house. And a lot of their shenanigans were at our house, right, Bill and Nancy? Those are my neighbors across the street. They still love us after having all these Marines home. And I'm so grateful now that we weren't judgmental. We accepted their language, which was really raunchy. We accepted their stories, and we just let them be who they were. And they would come back over and over. And nothing would make me more happy than for David to call and say, hey, Mom, we're heading down. I don't know what time we'll be there, maybe midnight, 1 in the morning. And my best morning would be waking up at 6 a.m. and looking out on the lanai at a litter of Marines and remnants of Taco Bell. So I think a couple times I found them sleeping in my garage, and they'd pull out the camping gear. And so I'm so thankful for that time period, but more so I'm grateful for the times that Tommy and David would just sit with me at the fire pit at night. And as much as they loved Bud Light, they would indulge me and we would share a bottle of Cabernet. And they would tell me the stories. And they would share with me a little bit about the horrors that they had seen. Because even though they were trained for that, they saw things, they did things, and they experienced a life that you really can't even imagine. And so we always made sure that we were a safe place for them to share. But they continued, and he was contemplating, do I get out and go and use my GI Bill and go to college? Oh, but they just waived a $25,000 bonus for me to go to 29 Palms and be promoted. So even though he was struggling, you can't get promoted if you go to your superiors and tell them that you're struggling with mental health. That's uncalled for, right, Ramiro? There's no way. So he kept it all inside and made sure he didn't tell anybody, and he drove across the country to 29 Palms. Kept us intact the whole way, got there, I'm here, I'm safe, it's good. I think he told me that he had some derelicts for Marines, and I didn't really understand what that meant, but he said that they were older than him but less accomplished. So he was going to train them to go back to Iraq. He was excited. We would FaceTime all the time. It was Labor Day weekend, and our oldest daughter lives in Oceanside, California, and he had spent the whole weekend with our daughter and getting ready for the Marine Corps ball. And then he calls me and says, Mom, before I deploy for Iraq, let's make sure we plan a ski trip to Utah, to Park City, like we did when we were kids. You bet, buddy. You bet. He says, well, I'm going out in the field for a couple days, but when I get back, we'll put the dates on the calendar. You got it. 24 hours later, I got the phone call that no mom ever wants to get. And this darkness came over us and into our home and into our lives. And everything became like a blur. And all I remember is at some point, at sunrise, these two Marines in their dress blues knocked on my front door. And I couldn't believe that they were there. And then it was more of a blur. And I remember my pastor sitting at my table in my dining room and asking me all of these questions, and I was just in a fog. And he held my face in his hands, and he said, Shara, Tom, God has a purpose for your pain. And I wanted to punch him in the face. Like, are you kidding me? God doesn't create pain like this. And then that kind of settled in and soaked in, and I started praying, God, how can you have purpose for unbelievable pain? A father should never lose his son. A mother should never bury her child. Where is the purpose? And I'm praying and I'm praying, and we just live right around the corner. And as I'm driving by this campus, as I've done 100 times, I see one of the trucks that had a picture of a warrior with the puppy, and it looked like David and one of the puppies that he had. I said, that's it. That's where God can use our pain to give us a purpose. He can use K9 For Warriors. And it was, this all happened within like 48 hours. Because we needed something in lieu of flowers. I didn't want a bunch of flowers at a Marine's funeral. So I contacted K9 For Warriors, and Rory called me and said, come on in. We're going to love on you and your family. And they loved on us and were so delicate with us, but yet gave us such a sense of hope. We can create a donation account in honor of your son, and when you raise $25,000, you can name a puppy in honor of your son. And that was it. So we did, and so many of our friends and family and Marines from all over the world were so generous in giving. And we got our first puppy, and of course, we named him Cooter. And then 10 weeks later, David's twin brother wrote us a letter and said, Mom and Dad, I love you, but I can't live on this earth anymore without my brother that I came into this world with. And so I'm going to go be with him in heaven. The darkness went black. Real black for a real long time. And it was shortly after that we reached back out to K9. Rory called me back in the conference room again and said, we're going to wrap our arms around you. We're going to keep loving on your family. We're going to help you get through this together. the person who was training Cooter is not able to finish the program. Could you guys take him? And we're like, we're trying to just wake up and put our britches on the right way. And Tom, my husband, 100%, absolutely. So we brought home Cooter. He was 10 weeks old, little excited puppy, little black ball of energy. And over the course of the next 15, 16 months that we had him, he held our hearts. Cooter knew that when we were sad, he would comfort us. When we were anxious, he would calm us. When we were joyful, he would celebrate with us. And so this organization, what was intended for warriors, ended up healing our PTSD and healing our hearts and providing that support right next to us. We are so grateful and would do this 100 times in order to provide this experience so that no other mom ever has to stand here in front of you and tell a story like this. So thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for your generosity to this organization. And thank you, Ramiro. We now have Cooter's cousin, Gizmo, and he's also this big black bundle of fun, and we're training him, and we will probably forever have a canine dog in our home. And Gizmo and Tom got to meet Ramiro and Cooter today, and it was really special. Everybody cried, the two biggest guys, and it was perfect. It was perfect. Thank you.
Shara, thank you so much for sharing your heart with us. Your family's heartbreak and healing is an inspiration to us. It's why we do what we do, and we'll continue to do what we do. We do not want to see another family experience what you experienced, and so that is our mission. So thank you again for being so vulnerable and accepting our invitation to come and talk today. I want to thank Shara's family that is here and her support system that is here. And I want to thank one of our other warriors that's here, Casey and Lucas. They traveled a couple hours to be here today. So we've got another one of our our warrior stories here today. So thank you, everybody, for coming. The mission of K9 For Warriors is to end veteran suicide. That is our job. We pair warriors with their battle buddies so that we can help them through those tough days, and we can help mitigate the symptoms of PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, and other military sexual traumas. The cost to support a warrior through our program, like Ramiro, is about $15,000, and our warriors pay nothing, ever, and they can come back again. Casey is on her second dog, so she has been here twice and was paired with her second battle buddy. Nearly 350 warriors are on our wait list right now. So we have a long list of warriors that are waiting for help. So if you were able to make a life-saving donation today, at that level to help a warrior through our program, it would make a tremendous impact, as you can see. And if you can support our mission at any level, we would obviously be very grateful for all that you have already done, for the friendships that you have with us. And we have a special donor this evening who is watching online, I think. She wanted to remain anonymous, but she has offered up a very generous gift of $25,000 to match anything that's raised in the room today. So I would love to take her up on that offer. So anything raised this evening will be matched. So there are QR codes on your table. If you would like to talk to one of the K9 teams, myself, one of my counterparts, Stephanie, or Elizabeth, or Carly, we are here to help. There are also going to be tribute cards this evening that you can send to somebody in honor of Mother's Day, so you can make your gift in honor of a special mom in your life. So if there's anything we can help you with, you want to raise your hand, we'll come and see you, or you can always grab us off to the side. So there's a million other ways to support our mission. You can volunteer for us, and you can even join Shara and raise a puppy. So there are a lot of puppies that are going to be coming into our program soon that need a home for about 15 or 16 months. And we'll show you how to do that, and we'll walk you through it. And if Tom and Shara can do it, I'm sure they would say anybody here can do it as well. So don't leave tonight without letting us know how you'd like to plug in with our mission, what else we can do to make an impact together, and really help save the lives of our warriors. So before we leave, I just wanted to let y'all know when you leave this evening, and you don't have to go. Again, the houses are open. Warrior House 1 and the clubhouse is open, and there's still plenty of food and drinks available to you. But there will be journals when you leave, so we would love to leave that with you as a parting gift. And for those that are online today, hopefully you got yours in the mail already, and if it didn't make it by today, I'm sure it'll be there very soon. I want to thank our student leaders that are here tonight that are helping us. We have a couple of our great board members that are here tonight that do not want me to say anything about them. But thank you to our board leaders for being here this evening. Thank you for all of our donors and supporters and volunteers that are here tonight. And we are, of course, very grateful for all of our special moms here today. And I hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. And we're going to wrap it up. I think we're ready to go. So enjoy yourselves. Stay longer. Thank you again for coming. Have a great night.